Hi. Over the last weekend, I had an opportunity to interact with my fellow executive coaches from across the industries, and most of them of their own independent coaches. And most importantly, some of the brightest minds in business spheres from the works of CXOs, many of them chairman and managing director of large companies. And this gathering of more than 125 odd business leaders and coaches was distinctively different from other circuits of such networking opportunities in the very sense that it was centered around some hardcore academics and research around executive coaching and very less on commercials as we increasingly see nowadays. So it was a refreshing change for me personally, being a student of executive coaching and a practitioner as well. I'd like to share three major highlights of these 3 days of congregation. First, that distinctively came as a natural tone of the conference was about role that executive coaching plays in leadership development. Most of us were of the unanimous opinion and view that executive coaching needs to be brought into the stage and centerpiece of leadership development. And it should be positioned within the entire organizational setup as an accelerator for leadership development. Most of us did feel the same, and there was an unanimous agreement again that high potentials in organization should be sensitized to opt for some form of coaching of their own, and that would definitely make a lot of mind shift where we currently see coaching uh, being associated still in that traditional terms of fixing something. There is a kind of, say, if we call a stigma that if someone is attached to executive coach, there is some deficit in the leader. Far from this, the truth is that, like any A-rated athlete who always have got some form of performance coaches attached to them, most of these high potential leaders should be mapped onto some form of coaching. One of the reasons being that as leaders grow in their hierarchy and their success, they become oblivious of their dark spots in their own personalities and what we call the black holes. And a competent executive coach does help in finding those and encourages the leader to perform to his or her own true potential. The second cardinal theme that came during our conversation was centered around leaders acting as coaches for their immediate teams. And here we are talking about very senior level of leaders, maybe N and N minus one leaders in any organization. And we have seen there is a greater reluctance for these leaders to don the hat of a coach to their immediate reportee. One of the empirical findings that one of our fellow coaches shared that though the top leader is more comfortable being coached to their N minus 2 levels rather than their immediate reportees. And that was quite an interesting finding for obvious reasons. Because for the immediate reportees, these leaders are seen more of as feedback givers or a performance custodian, and hence the natural spirit of a coach is often relegated to the backstage. And hence, there is an increasing need to spread this theme of leaders acting as coaches. Studies after studies have established this phenomena that those organizations where leaders act as coaches, apart from their usual role of manager, consultant, and so on and so forth, those organizations outperform the peer organization who don't have such culture. And hence, increasingly, we must sensitize organization and more importantly, the organizational leaders to don the hat of coach for their immediate reportees. And third, which was very much intrinsic and innate to the coaching setup itself, was that there are various schools of thoughts of coaching and executive coaching. You name it. You have got performance coaching, you have life coaching, you have got even marriage coaches, which are seen as a new breed of coaches in Western countries. Most of these coaching thought processes and practitioners, they do focus on the performance part of it. That is what we call in our coaching parlance the doing part of it. Very few school of thoughts do give leverage equally towards the being part of it. And I find myself fortunate and thankful enough to my master coach, Peter Reding, in that sense that I've been trained on a holistic coaching model where being self is given equal importance, if not more, as given to the doing self. And hence, as professional coaches, we must strive to spread the word for a holistic coaching approach for our clients and coaches. When we connect to our deeper selves at an innate level, at a spontaneous level, we have got changes and transformation which are far more long lasting and transformative in nature than otherwise could have been possible. And hence, as coaches, we must propagate this concept of a holistic coaching model where the coaches do bring in their doing self inclination as much as to the being that being of a being self coach. And hence balancing the being and doing part is a critical skill of trained and certified coaches. In all, the 2 days spent among the fellow coaches and senior most leaders of various organizations, to me, was absolutely galvanizing and got my own beliefs and challenges as a coach reassured, reconfirmed, and I look forward to such many interaction in the days to come with these fellow coaches and look forward to staying in touch. As for my own organization, I'm on a mission of creating a coaching framework, a robust coaching framework, before we aspire for creating a robust coaching culture, which is definitely the de rigueur, or what you call the holy grail of coaching in any organizational setup. We are quite a distance already traveled towards that, but a lot to go, miles to go before we can truly claim to have established a coaching culture within our organization. And this 2 days congregation with fellow executive coaches was quite an enlightenment and refreshing. Thank you.